What's poppin' in my chop on my Bagel Bites? It is Mr. Bagel Bites here, bringing you another deck profile video. Just got back from locals, and I want to show you my new Shining Sarc brew since we got the Dark Magician, and I haven't been able to showcase a video with it yet. But now I finally swept locals. We went 5-0, and I can kind of show what we did here with this. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it, showcasing the Shining Sarc archetype mat from Japan. Got it ordered, came with the sleeves and the QCR turn silence. It's gotta be around here somewhere, but yeah, no, these sleeves are gas. These are so cool. This is definitely probably my favorite archetype in a long time. I think it's super cool. So let's go ahead and get into it. We play the one of Dark Magician of Black Magic. He is super cool. Yeah, and then him coming out and then setting the spell trap that says a Dark Magician in its name. It comes up a lot here. So let's keep going here, continuing on the monsters for Shining Sarc. We play 2 of the Gandora. Again, super important. He is a Dark Dragon. I always want to bump it to 3, but I can just never bring myself to do it. He's definitely good, but I can just never bump him to 3. I've considered it multiple times, but just can't. I am teching now the Archfiend's Advent at 1. I had a couple reasons for this. Stealing a monster, like baiting a negate, is kind of good. It sucks that it has to be a normal summon, but what's cool with him is he is a dark and he's level 6, and then we got these guys who are level 4 lights. So depending on like board state, I've had it come up a lot of the time where I can like yoink a monster and then go into like a Chaos Angel, and like a lot of decks can't out Chaos Angel. So like those being like light and dark is really cool. So it gives another utility for the Silent Swordsman as well, because I think of the monsters he is probably the weakest of the archetype. But yeah, these two together are really strong, and then if you have like both of these and Silent Zero, like you're just in a really commanding position. And he's not like bad. Like he's cool. He's a dark, he's a fiend, so that has synergy. Depending on other stuff you might want to play. 2500 isn't anything to scoff at. Level 6 is pretty good level, depending on other things you might want to splash with that. But yeah, I like this like lineup here. And then rounding out the Shining Sarc monsters, we play 3 of the Gadget Trio. It's the Searcher, it's the starter, it's good. You definitely want to max out on 3 of those. Next up is we run a small cash package. 3 Fenrir. 3 Fenrir and a Unicorn. We also do play for the spell the 1 Birth. I had what is it? I had Theosis in here, and I just never did it. Honestly, I would just rather have Birth. It like makes the Dark Magician, who's also a 7, you can kind of just slap him down 2, like worst case scenario, recycling your banished guys and like from the graveyard, and then like hitting cards. There's a lot of just cool stuff you can do, and Birth is just such a good card. Like Birth is so good. And then like obviously the cash monsters to break boards, good going first and second, replaces a card in the hand. There's a lot there. Plus Unicorn ripping monsters. He's good. I don't think I need to explain the cash cards, but you know, sometimes you do. I am playing 1 of each, Magnamut and Druid's Worm in the main. There's a couple reasons for this. You can set this up pretty easily, even if you're not playing against a light and dark deck, which is pretty rare right now, but not impossible, because like most of your guys are light and dark. Like it's not uncommon. A lot of hand traps obviously are light and dark as well, but what's really cool about these guys is they are dragons and dark. That comes up, and 6s. Another thing to think about with the silent guys to go into 10s, as well as the Archfiend Advent, the Summon Skull guy, if you ever want to go into XCs, plays with them. 25, obviously really strong. A lot of the guys are 25 in this deck, which is a really strong just like summon to go for like OTKs especially. But what's cool with them being dragons and having effects like the Searching Gandora or a Druid's Worm, depending on when you're going, and this clearing a monster, especially if you make for a synchro or a fusion play, because he's a dragon, where you can fuse, and you can go into Dragoon with him if you have Dark Magician, or another monster. A couple of monsters I'll go into here as we continue. But yeah, these are definitely super good. I'm glad I included them. They originally sided, and I was like, you know what? I really just kind of want this in the main. This comes up more often than not. Now for the hand traps. Let's get people happy real quick. 3 Shifter. It's a shifter deck. We banish cards. We don't care about our graveyard like at all. It's in there. If we draw it, we draw it, and when we do, it feels good. Also playing 3 Nib. Yeah, Nib's good. I like Nib. I want the high impact hand traps right now. This is a deck where you can't invest, I feel, a ton in some hand traps depending on the brew you want to play. I think I'm technically playing, so if you count these guys, 8, 9, 10, 12. I think like 13, 14, if I'll do the math at the end. But so we're playing like a lot of high impact ones and then like the bestials. But those are the only real like hand trap monsters. So we'll head on to the spells next. 3 of the Shining Sarcophagus. Card is so good, it's the cornerstone of the deck. You need it. What's cool about it is this did come up too, the anti-graveyard thing. Since we're playing a few extra spells that I wasn't playing previously, that did come up a couple times, which was really cool. And then just searches every turn. It's the fact that it's immune to monster effects came up too. Some guy tried to ogre this because he didn't know what he did, and he's like, "Get rid of him." I'm like, "No." Can you read that? Oh, cannot be destroyed by monster effects. Oh, yeah, wow, yeah, you're right. But it's good. Shining Sarc is a good card. I just wish it was a field spell. That way it could be found a little bit easier. 3 Future Silence. Yeah, I don't think I'd bump it any lower. It's good. It's a searcher. Quick play spell. You can respond to things. Especially Droll. The fact that like I was getting Droll, I was able to like chain the Future Silence to search 1 more card to continue my plays in OTK. It definitely comes up. 1 Ties That Bind. It's Ties of the Brethren, but for this deck. It's literally what it's based on. And 1 Turn Silence. This rounds out like the Shining Sarc spells specifically. This was at 2. I cut it to 1. I was coming up in too many situations where it was just dead, unfortunately. It comes up. You can also make 7s off of your 4s, which comes up sometimes. But I considered siding the second. I ended up cutting it. I think 1 is fine until we're in maybe a different format. But I think 1's good right now. I do technically have 1 more spell, and that is the Secrets of Dark Magic. It's our target for the Dark Magician that we set. So when he comes back out from the special summon, you set this, and then on your opponent's turn, depending on what you have, you can make Dragoon, or you can make it on potentially your turn, depending on like opening. You make Gandora, or with Gandora and him, you make Dragoon, which is a negate, obviously, and hard to out monster. There is something else, and I'll kind of get into that more here in a second. I'll wrap these up. 2 Super Polymerization. It's a board breaker, good going first and second, and helps out our deck a little bit more than some others. I think Super Poly's good in some decks, not all right now. This one is one of ones where I think it is good. Playing 3 Prosp. We need to see our cards. Yeah. 1 Called By. We need to see our cards. And I don't want to play Nobleman in this right now. Or Crossout Designator, rather. So I like Called By. 1 Silhouette Trick. It was a Azure statue. I was trying this out to get like 2 negates, basically. If you have Rabbit and then play this, you get to like negate 2 face-up cards on the field. I liked it a lot. And having just a monster that can't be destroyed in battle, like, it's kind of like makes it its own little Chaos Angel, which is kind of cool with the Rabbit. I think it's good. Plus, like, the fact that like 1500 attack isn't bad for a quick little summon right there. You got to get in the little bit of extra damage that sometimes comes up. I think he's good. Worst case, if they clear the Rabbit, it's still like a 1. Like, plus the Rabbit then pops a card. 3 Imperm, and then to round out the traps, 1 Peekaboo. It's our 1 Floodgate. It's at 1. It's good. It's not always good. Sometimes I side it out. But, I mean, a lot of the time, if you get it, you're winning a lot. If they can't out it. Especially with some of this extra deck. Man, these sleeves are just... Obviously, the first fusion, we got Dragoon here. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, Insane Boss Monster. Really hard to out, fan favorite. And then I am also playing the one of...
Now I merge my dragon with my Dark Magician! Combine to form...
Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. So what's cool about him, he is Dark Magician when on the field or in the graveyard. But this one specifically, I played it because when he's on the board, your opponent can't target or destroy your face-up, and maybe even face down, Yeah, spells and traps in general. Can't target or destroy spells and traps you control. So a lot of the time, what most people side in is Cosmic Cyclone, or Galaxy Cyclone. That's right, it's not this one. The Cyclone that you pay 1,000 and banish a face up, or a spell or trap on the field, this just stops that. So if you're worried about that, and you don't really need the Dragoon, or you're in a weird position, you can kind of bring this out instead. It also protects your Tikaboo, and you just protect your Shining Sark with the dragon, because then they can't out it. So if you don't want to go Dragoon, or you don't have a discard to negate, but you still need the Shining Sark for follow-up plays, this is a really good guy too. And since you're playing Super Poly, if they do have a dragon or a bestial or something, like Magnamood, hopefully not True Swarm because they'll just out it immediately, you can just kind of bring this out for free. Obviously Dragoon could possibly work too, but it happens. I did Super Poly and Magnamood away because he banished my... I think he banished like my Archfiend Advent or something in order to get a Magnamood on field to get a search at end phase, and I was just kind of like, oh, I have Super Poly. I can make this. I think I ended up making Dragoon in the sense, but but like it happens, and like this is an extra body if they do like Kashtira your Dragoon away with Unicorn or something, so it does come up. More Super Poly targets. I am playing the 1 Yubel. It does come up because my locals is pretty Yubel heavy. 1 Predaprant Dragus Depelia, a fusion monster in the dark that definitely comes up a lot. Mud Dragon and Garua. So those are all the fusions. Well, all the fusions that are Super Poly targets. We play 1 Chaos Angel. It could probably be 2. I like 1. 1 Typhon, SP, Rabbit. I ended up playing this because I didn't want to use 4 monsters. I had access code and I swapped it for Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. I think this was just kind of better. Like, he's just really good. Plus, it fit the thematic of the Yugi deck a little bit better, which was cool. I also play, because I am playing 3 Ultimate Slayer in the side, we do have 4 extra cards that we can send besides the Garua. We have Elder Entity, Malong, that one, Merologia. Oh my god, I can't read it upside down. Merologic Aggregator. The XC is one that you use. And Ferrigit, the Tri-Brigade that lets you like draw and like send one. So those are the ones you clear with the Ultimate Slayer. And then I'll go into the side deck real quick, try and cut this under 15 minutes. We got 3 rather of the Spooky Sisters. That way we can gain life points as a time card. It is what it is. A lot of people slow play this deck, I've noticed, because they don't know how to play against it. So they'll take their time to just kind of gain life points. And I was losing in game 3 a lot of the time because they would just stall. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick of that happening. Play the game. We got 3D Barrier. Good card. 3D Fissure. Another card that gets set up with the... Where is he? There he is. Another card one like kind of set up with this. So if you have like Shining Sark and this and DeFi, you're in a really commanding position. Because like they're losing their whole grave. The Shining Sark isn't really doing anything to them at that point, but like this is pretty strong, honestly. Duster, Thrust and Tactics to search. And then rounding it out, 3 Ultimate Slayer, which was insane. I kind of liked it a little bit better than Metaltronus, simply because I had the room to put in the extra, like, send targets, like these guys. So you can either, like, draw cards, and, like, you have a little bit more selection to clear the board, and they can't respond to it, which was pretty cool, like, with monster effects. But I really enjoyed how this played. I really love this deck. I loved continuing to evolve it and, like, getting new support for it. We're probably not going to see anything else specific to the deck for a while, but I definitely think the deck is good. I did win today, and like, but I did draw pretty well against my Snake Eye Fiendsmith opening. Because if you see this, and then you side in like the DeFi like going second or first, and if you see like Shifter, I mean like you're doing pretty good. And then, like, Shifter backed by a Dragoon, like, and then Gandor. There's a lot of good cards in this deck that when the opponent doesn't know how to play against them, they just kind of are forced to scoop. And then, like, go to the next one. But that was the video. Let me know what you think down below if you want to see more decks like this. I can't wait to take it to locals again, but I hadn't uploaded a Shining Sark video in a while, and I was feeling the itch to play the deck and show off the sleeves and the mat. But thank you guys so much, and as always, catch you later.